Now that means that he has had to kill so many things that came up and that could have made Ugandans rich. I'll tell you this: in 1986, when he came to power, Uganda was exporting $94 million worth of coffee. 94 million worth of coffee. But that 94 million was taking so many people to school. People were driving cars, driving motorcycles, and driving Mwanyizabara and all that, off $94 million. Now, on average, for the last few years, it has been 900 million, almost 10 times more. This year, or the previous financial year, which ended mid-year, it was 1.14 billion. But the issue is that nobody sees the money, because the top 10 companies that export coffee and make the most out of Ugandan coffee are all foreign owned. Even those which have local names are all foreign owned. Now, because what he has always done is what Museveni always does, he creates a layer of middlemen who make sure that the farmers get released from their coffee, and then the middlemen get all the money, and they are licensed by him to make sure that the money does not trickle down to the person at the bottom. Now, when he saw that coffee was becoming a boom and people were getting money, he had to wake up from where he is, because he has spent 40 years, close to 40 years, just trying to make Ugandans poor. You see, here was started in 1991 as some sort of replacement for Coffee Marketing Board. Coffee Marketing Board died and became defunct. Now also he's going to make this year defunct. And all that because money should not go to those people. Give them parish development model, give them whatever, yoga and all that, but let them not make money for themselves, because especially when they are going into elections. Now, if another coffee season had come with these prices, and there's even a projection that they are going to get higher, now what was going to happen is by the time we go to election, villagers would have money and you would not be in position to buy them for a bar of soap, because they are getting money. Some of them were renovating their houses and what, go to Masaka and all that, because of these coffee prices. And this was like a lottery, when suddenly coffee went up and was still going up. So now I've been labored to tell people that Museveni has deliberately made Ugandans poor. During elections, I was telling people that we're going to have money, you're going to have money in your pocket, we are going to empower you, financial liberation. They said, how are you going to do it? I said, it is so easy, just take away the legislation that killed all those things. Now what he's doing to coffee, he has done to other things before. I'll give you another example. Fish. Incredibly, by the way, now there is a shortage of Nile perch, because some foreigners, I don't like mentioning nationalities, but some foreigners decided they need it more than Ugandans. So now, if you're somebody who loves Nile perch like me, you would struggle to get it. But I'll tell you this: in 2008, there were about 800,000 people who said that their occupations were fishermen. About 800,000 people, and Uganda was exporting about between 150 and about $180 million worth of fresh fish, mostly to the European Union. And we're in the top 5. Uganda was in the top 5 of countries that were exporting fresh fish to the European Union. And one of our competitors in that regard was China. Now, what China did is, instead of competing with Uganda for the European Union market, they came to Uganda and took over Ugandan fish with the help of our leaders who don't want Ugandans to get rich. Now, the last time I checked, less than 100,000 people say that their occupation is fishermen. Now, where do all those people go? That's something which employs 800,000 people, and in a few years it's employing less than 100,000. Now, coffee, according to UCDA, employs 1.8 million households that are involved in coffee growing. Now, if he kills that also, that means all the time that an industry falls, the borders become more. Were farmers and what, until that became difficult. So now fishermen, as we speak right now, Uganda is the only country that I know in the world where the military is legitimate commercial activity. Go to the lakes from Bunyoro, where I come from Waseko, Mutiaba, all the way down up to Toroko Lake Albert. They are armament there stopping people from going to fish. They use all sorts of arguments, you know, there are nets which are illegal, picking up young fish and all that, but they will not give the proper nets. The other day we had somebody here at this press conference who came and said he went and managed to get some fish from Lake Albert and somehow put it in a truck and was driving the truck towards Masindi to go and sell the fish. He was attacked by soldiers and shot at for carrying fish. Now imagine a country where soldiers are shooting at people for carrying fish. Fish which you've not stolen, which you went and fished. You're not supposed to get rich from fish. That's the whole point. Now, go to Busoga. He has killed the whole industry. From 800,000 people employed by fish. And we even had fish millionaires, fish tycoons. Okay, people who are tycoons through exporting fish. They are not there any longer. Okay, and no, at least not indigenous people. All of them are foreigners, mostly Chinese. And now, go to Busoga. Same thing, military stationed there, don't fish. Now, where do you see a country where the military is involved in making people not involve themselves in a legitimate commercial activity? How is that even possible? Now, Ugandans have got to know that this. So he did the same because there was a fish boom around that year. He killed it. Before that, in the late 1990s and early 2000s, there was a vanilla boom. You remember vanilla? He went and killed it properly through legislation. He comes and says we have to improve the quality and what. He kills the whole thing. Now, don't be fooled. The prices of vanilla went very high. People could have become very rich off vanilla, especially people in Toro and Kasese. But what happened is he went and put middlemen who ensure that the farmer gets the least profit, just enough to keep him barely interested. And all the big money goes to the middlemen. And the middlemen who have licenses which are given to them by politicians. Now coffee, the same thing. They came up with the law just before elections, and they gave licenses. You have to sell your coffee to somebody who has a license. Guess who had all the licenses? Salim Sadek, and he gives them to whoever he pleases. Okay. Now, and that is the thing. So he's in control of Ugandan coffee, and just as well as everything else. Now the purpose is to make sure the farmer gets the lowest amount of money, just enough to barely keep their interest in it. That's why they even put a law that if you cut down your coffee trees, you're in prison for 2 years. Imagine that. So that you are supposed to keep the coffee even if you're not making profit. Somebody else should make the profit. If you cut it down, they'll imprison you. The law was there. It was there. So they killed the vanilla boom. They killed the cotton boom. Cotton boom was in 2006. Around 2006, there was a boom of cotton, and then they also killed the tea, all our agricultural produce. Now, what does he say? That we are not value addition. When you catch him in his machinations and his craft trying to make people poor, he goes back to his pet arguments of we are not adding value to our products. We need to start adding value. German earn more from coffee, yet they don't grow coffee. He has his more arguments which he puts there just to confuse people, to obfuscate. But the reality is this. Let's talk about value addition. Before Museveni came to power, about 70% of Ugandan textile was made in Uganda from Ugandan cotton. Cotton was grown mostly in northern Uganda and the Kasese area, taken to Lira Spinning Mill, taken from there to Nyanza 19, Nyanza Textile Industries Limited, and Uganda coming